Please, I beg you. Can we do?
And we are on the YouTube portion before we go to get ready. Are you ready, Jonathan, to start for the...
Yes, I'm ready. All
You've been
right,
ready
Bill.
for 20 minutes, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay, 30 seconds of quiet, and then we'll go to WP-Tonic and create the podcast. Welcome to WP-Tonic, episode 48. Today, we're going to delve deep into backups and backup services. Well, it's mostly backups for WordPress. And there are three different areas, and we're going to put this over 3 episodes. Today, we're going to be going into backup plugins. The next episode will be backup services, and then we'll pull it all together with hybrid services, bringing everything together. But remember, this is a podcast, so we have the ability to make changes and maybe push them together. I think this is probably, before I hand it over to Jonathan, a lot of people just sort of put their head in their sand and say, oh, I'm not going to need a backup on my WordPress site. And most new people don't have backups. They rely on, of course, their service and so on and so forth. But a lot of times the services will charge, $100 to get your site restored or find problems or even more. So it's really good to understand backups, to test your backup system, and to really pay attention here with what's going on. And we're all guilty of not backing up all our sites. But your money site, that better be backed up. So without further ado, Jonathan, you're shaking your head. They can't see it. They can see it on YouTube, of course.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Bill. And
by the way, you're looking marvelous.
Thank you, Bill.
With your black shirt and your sort of black background. And it's the 3rd of July. This is going up on the 4th. So we recorded on the 4th. And there's no news other than everyone's on holiday and the gas prices are down. It's been hot in the West.
That's
but
true.
For our friends in England, I'm sorry you're missing the holiday.
Yeah, but I think the other thing I like to point, I totally agreed with everything you said, Bill, which is amazing, isn't it? The other thing is your hosting provider, they are, and it's not a fault of their own, they are a prime target for attack themselves. The hacker class, they would love nothing more than being able to breach a large hosting provider and get in and cause havoc. And that's what a lot of hosting providers have to spend their time on, making sure that they make it as hard as possible for horrible people to get into their servers. And they do their best, but, sometimes, it's a bit of a war out there. And, the Internal Revenue Service servers got compromised, and Sony got compromised, and so you can have a lot of resources and still get your servers compromised. I remember once I had a client that had was a paying site. They made a considerable amount of money from their site, and they didn't do backups themselves. They relied on the hosting provider, and that hosting provider got hacked, and they came back and they said, yeah, we could do a retrieval, but the server that had their backups also got hacked and got decimated, basically. So they provided a backup, but it was 6 months old. And there was the case of Woo. There's a famous interview with one of the founders of Woo Themes, Woo e-commerce, and they faced a similar situation. So backup is really, really important. And if you want a happy life with WordPress or any content management system, but we're the WordPress nuts, aren't we, Bill? So right. We're talking about if you want a happy life with WordPress, you got to have a good backup system, and you utilize your hosting provider as the final thing. If all else fails, you go to your hosting provider. You don't go to your hosting provider as the primary backup. You go to your hosting provider as everything else has failed. Does that make sense, Bill?
I would say most people are going to call their hosting provider. That's the first thing they're going to do. And let me tell you, I use Bluehost, and I love Bluehost, so I can't say too many negative things about the customer support at Bluehost. But what I find, and this is not being overly negative, is I often know more than I'd say 4 out of 5 people I talk to at Bluehost.
Yeah,
I'm amazed with what they don't know.
yeah, but that's like we were saying. I offer a boutique hosting solution, and that's the difference. Because when you ring up, you'd probably be even worse, won't you? Because you get me. But no, I think I know a little bit than a level one Bluehost technician about WordPress and then recovery. So let's go on with it. So that's the basic pitch for the start of this series that we hope to do in this. So basically, if you're wise and you're not totally relying on your hosting provider, what are the solutions? Well, like most things in WordPress, Bill, the good news is there's a lot of choice out there, and we've seen this with the other shows that we've done. That's one of the strengths of WordPress. There's a lot of quality choices out there. So basically, we're going to look at the plugin solutions first. And the one I'm going to start off with is one of the best well-known, and it's Backup Buddy. And it's published by iThemes, who's a well-known theme shop. They do a number of WordPress themes. They do a number of professional plugins. They do a number of things in the world of WordPress. And, you know, we probably will try and get them on the show. And they do this Backup Buddy, and I have used it. And they've improved it. It's been improved quite a bit over the past year. It's not the cheapest solution, but you get what you pay for normally. For a one-site license, it's $80 a year. Obviously, if you renew the second year, they do it at a reduced renew fee. They do other licensing. I think their developers license, which is unlimited sites, so it's about $150. So that's pretty good value, I think. And it does scheduling backup. It does backup to Amazon Free, Rackspace, Cloud, Stash, all Dropbox. It will do it will back up to all your kind of normal cloud providers. I was listening to Adam Silver's podcast, and he did a slight review on an alpha version that's just been released. And they're offering something quite interesting, Bill, with this plugin. They're offering their own storage area of one gigabyte plus.
I saw that.
But also, what they're doing, Bill, is they're inbuilding into the plugin the ability to have a staging site. So you have on there, or one of the other cloud providers, you can literally have a staging site, and then you can test things and then push to your production site, right? That's in alpha, but I think it's probably coming to become the normal product pretty soon. So I would say the other real strength is that it comes from a really great WordPress company, iThemes, so support is top notch. And the other strength it has, Bill, is the interface is well polished. All these backup plugins are, I wouldn't say the easiest thing for a newbie to use. I don't think you would have any problem with them. But some have better interfaces than others, and this has got one of the most polished interfaces of the group of plugins that we're going to be looking at, Bill.
Yeah, it's the oldest of the backup plugins, as far as I know. One of the oldest, has a longevity. It's been around for a long time. Yeah,
I think iThemes actually bought it off the original developer. I don't know if the original developer has become part of the iThemes team. They've had a few developers which they've bought plugins from, and a lot of them have become part of iThemes' actual team. So I think it's a pretty good quality product, and I gave it 5 stars, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a quick question about it. The pricing, they got the Gold Developer, I got Gold Developer, Freelance, and Blogger. On the Gold, it's $297. So if you're in this business for long term, that's probably a decent thing to have. But at the bottom it says, in on all of them, it says 10 iThemes sync sites.
I don't actually know what that's about, actually.
Okay. Lifetime plugin updates, and everything else is just 1 year of support and access. That means they're not going to update it after 1 year?
Well, that means you got to renew your license, Bill.
Because some places won't give you support, but they'll allow you to get the update of the plugin.
Well, it varies.
Yeah.
It does vary. What normally happens is that when you renew, you get it at a 30, 40, 50% reduction from the original price. And they're a reputable company. So I think whatever deal they're going to offer you, I think you got the insurance. You're dealing with one of the best, a company that's got a history of dealing with their clients well.
Now, if you go to a developer, the developer has a gold license, that means you have a lifetime of updates?
Yeah.
So that's another good reason to use a developer to help you build your website.
Or have somebody that's got the developer license and a part of a package can offer that to you.
As a pack. Now, I've in my small little element for podcasters and politicians, we really need to add that element.
Well, it just depends, Bill. So let's go on. Let's talk about another one. I would have no problem recommending Backup Buddy to anybody. It's not the one that I personally use, but I do have some clients that use this, so I have no problem. The next one I have used, but the last time I actually had a license, a developer's license, but it was about over a year and a half ago, and I haven't really looked at this, but it is very popular, and it's BackWPub.
BackWPub
by MarketPress. They do a free version and a pro version. They start, the one site license is $75. It's a little bit less than Backup Buddy. The main difference between the free version is very popular because it's fully functioning. Well, some of the areas that are missing from the free and the pro version is that the free version, you can't schedule backups. You can only do manual. And I think there's some restrictions on the cloud services that are offered, but I think some are still offered in it. It's had over 300,000 downloads. That's the free version. It basically, it's very similar. What cloud services that it offers are very similar to the previous plugin we looked at. Like I say, when I used it, I did have some problems with it, with some theme plugin mixtures. And I wouldn't say that the support was of such a high quality as I would say that you would get from Backup Buddy and iThemes, but it was over a year, 18 months since, so things change rapidly, don't they, Bill? One of the things that this plugin does offer that a lot of the other plugins doesn't, Bill, is it does offer support for multi-site. That's the version of WordPress that you can have one core and you can have multiple WordPress sites running on, and this plugin does support multi-site, Bill.
Right.
So I probably would give it 3 to 4 stars. It's not a bad choice, but I would say that in the plugins we're looking at, there are better choices, Bill. But that's just my personal view. And then we're looking at another one called Backup WordPress. That's supported by a very well-known high-end WordPress shop that does a lot of custom development for Fortune 500 companies, human-made. The single site is only $22. They do a developer's version. It's a very popular. They do a free version that's very popular. It will back up to all the storage. the free version does offer all the things that the pro version does. It's not bad, but it is missing some of the sophistication of Backup Buddy and some of the others that we're going to look at. So I wouldn't. I'd look at it, and it might suit you. And the single site license, like I say, is only $22 for the pro version, so it's quite competitive. So it might offer what you're looking for. But I gave it 3 stars because compared to some of the others, it just doesn't have the sophistication, Bill.
Right.
Then I'm going on to the one that I actually use myself,
and I use it too.
Updraft.
Sorry.
They do a single site license for $75, and then he does a license because he's got kind of micro plugins, but he does a overall that includes all these micros and also allows you unlimited sites, and that's the license I've got. I've used this plugin for over 18 months, almost 2 years now. It said the free version is fully functioning, but it will allow you to store on all the leading cloud solutions. But like Backup Buddy, with the free version, you only get the manual functionality. The free version's had over 4,000 downloads, Bill, and it's one of the most it's in the top 40 of most popular downloads in the WordPress depository. So this is a very popular. The free version is very popular. I think it's a fantastic plugin, Bill, but it hasn't got its problems. Also, before I go on to the problem, the support that you get from the developer, the 2 times that I've had to do, I've had some problems and I've had to contact the developer. The support that I've got from him has been absolutely superb, Bill. It's been top-notch support. He's extremely knowledgeable individual and very helpful. And also he's English, Bill. So what more could you ask for? But there is a problem, and the problem is when you can see it when you go to his website. I think he, I don't know the gentleman's background, but he must be a very high-end PHP developer, but he's no designer, and that shows in his website, which looks a bit amateurish, to be fair about it. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is the actual interface of the plugin, as we would say in England, is a real dog's breath, as we would say. It is a bit of a mess of an interface compared to the slickness of Backup Buddy. Now, I wouldn't say Backup Buddy is the most simplest plugin to use, but compared to the kind of visual mess that you're presented with Updraft Plus, it's in a different league, Bill.
Are you talking about the on the dashboard, the settings?
Just the interface design and layout, Bill. It's a little bit of a mess. UX design, basically, the usability of the actual product. If you're somebody experienced like yourself or like me, it's probably. But even me, I get lost. I get slightly lost in it initially, trying to get it set up, and I use it regularly. So I would say that's the only drawback from the product, but its actual functionality and the job it does. It also, like Backup Buddy, unlike some of the other ones that we've talked about that only do backup, this, like Backup Buddy, you can do migration with this plugin, i.e. you can move it from one test server from your local development environment to your production server, and it helps you move not only the physical files but the database as well, Bill. Right. So I give it 5, even though it's got a bit of a mess of an interface. I give it 5 star because of the functionality, the value for money, and the enormous great support you get from the developer. And I hope I haven't upset him by what I've said about the interface, but you got to tell the truth, haven't you? But I still would highly recommend it to anybody. Sometimes a product has got a slight weakness, but its core functionality is superb, Bill.
Right.
And then I would go on to WP Backup, which is totally free. It's developed by Austin Moscow. I hope I'm not slaughtering his name. He's a quite amazing developer. He's developed over 17 WordPress plugins. Most of them are free. He must be in full-time employment where he finds the time to do all this free development. We shall never know. It's had over 500,000 downloads, and it's a great plugin. But the thing is, it only backs up the database. It doesn't back up your theme, your plugins, all the other stuff. It only backs up the database. It will schedule a backup of the database, and then you have to use FTP to do a physical backup of the physical files of the website. So it's totally usable, but compared to the others, that's a big slight problem. But like I say, it's free, and if you're looking for a quality solution that will only back up the database, I would have no hesitation. But for those reasons, I gave it 3 stars, Bill. Right? So I think we've talked about from 5 to 6 plugins. So I would say that the 2 that at the end of our episodes I will be given reputation, but as a slight teaser, I would say the 2 that are on the short list as finalists when we get to the 3rd show is Backup Buddy and Updraft Plus.
Right.
They're the 2 that I, if I'm looking for a winner, they're the 2 I would be looking at to choose from, Bill.
Right, and I checked my backups too on Timelines of Success, and they all look good, all sitting up there, and it shows. It really does. That Updraft Plus is a sweet program.
It is, Bill, but if you do look at the iTheme solution, Backup Buddy, I'm not saying it's dead easy to use. It's still a complicated plugin with a lot of options, but I think you straight away could see a better UX design.
Okay.
And a better level of usage functionality, as I would put it. But as something that has worked almost in 99, sometimes it has failed, but that's been a very large site with a very horrendous mixture of plugins and other stuff. But almost 99% of cases, Updraft Plus has worked out for me. And I recommended it to you, and you've been happy with it, haven't you?
Very happy. I figured it out pretty early on, and one thing I changed to, just so people know, is I moved over to a pro version of Dropbox, which it works very well with. But it works with a lot of different things. There's about 10 things. Amazon S3 it works with. All of your cloud-based elements, you just have to set it up. But it's a pretty simple, straightforward. One thing I haven't done, and which I'd like to do, I'd like to clone a site using it.
Yes.
I haven't done that yet. I need to test that, try one of my 20-some-odd sites and clone it.
Oh, my God.
It's very good. But this is early on. Timelines is my oldest, most developed site, one of my oldest developed sites. But it's a very good product. Well, Jonathan, it is 4th of July weekend. It's the 3rd of July. It's Friday. Normally we go up on Sunday. I'm contemplating putting this up tonight, Friday, to see how it goes. I do like this time to 3 o'clock on Fridays is not a bad time to do a podcast.
No, it depends on if I'm doing client work, but because of the weekend, the 4th of July, it's gone a bit quiet today, but it just depends on all the stuff.
How often do you do client work on Friday afternoon? Because usually the clients want to blow out and hit happy hour.
It depends if something's going wrong, Bill, and they're losing money.
Well, we usually do this. We do this usually on Saturday. It's really fresh. And we do it sometimes Saturday at 10 and 11. But I like this Friday afternoon because to me, that's one of the quietest times in business.
Yeah.
And,
well, we'll try and do it next Friday. We'll see how we go, Bill.
You know, I might put this up tonight. We'll see how it does on the numbers. So tomorrow night. That means I got to go right into the editing and setting all up. By the way, this was episode 48, so I got to go back and correct that.
Oh, God.
I had my folders up. I don't know where 47 is. But
Are we still live, Bill?
We're still live, so I guess we'll say aloha.
Hello,
okay.
I'd like to wish everybody a great 4th of July, themselves, their family, and their friends.
Yep, sounds good. Take care.